South African politics has once again erupted into extraordinary turmoil after a parliamentary session that left the nation stunned and riveted. In what has quickly become one of the most dramatic confrontations in recent political history, Parliament descended into chaos when MP Mkhwanazi took the floor and made a bold, unprecedented call for the immediate arrest of President Cyril Ramaphosa. What began as a routine session shifted sharply the moment Mkhwanazi rose to speak. Instead of delivering a measured critique, he launched directly into a searing condemnation of the president's leadership. Fixing his gaze on Ramaphosa, he declared that the president's actions had betrayed the nation and that the time had come for full accountability, including arrest. For a few tense seconds, the chamber froze, the weight of his words hanging palpably in the air. Then, as though a switch had been flipped, pandemonium erupted. Opposition MPs leapt from their seats, clapping, whistling, and chanting "Arrest him" across the floor, while ANC members responded with outrage, shouting over one another in an attempt to drown out the uproar. The speaker tried valiantly to restore order, but the clamor only intensified as the atmosphere grew increasingly volatile. The situation escalated even further when MPs from several parties chose to walk out of the chamber altogether. Their departure, some in anger and others in protest, underscored the widening fractures within the political landscape. Some opposition MPs accused Ramaphosa supporters of shielding corruption, insisting that they could not sit silently in a chamber where serious allegations were being ignored. On the other side, ANC loyalists claimed they refused to participate in a session where the presidency, one of the country's most respected institutions, was being slandered without due process. The mass walkout left the chamber in disarray, with the speaker struggling to regain control and the session teetering on the edge of collapse. The dramatic moment was more than a heated exchange, it symbolized a political climate stretched to its limits, where tensions simmer just beneath the surface and any spark, like Mkhwanazi's bold accusation, can ignite a national firestorm. At the center of Mkhwanazi's explosive claim lies the ongoing Failure scandal and a series of unresolved allegations surrounding Ramaphosa. Critics argue that despite numerous inquiries, the president has avoided providing a transparent and direct account of what truly transpired. They claim he has been shielded by committees and bureaucratic processes that drag out investigations without offering meaningful clarity to the public. Mkhwanazi's call for arrest was therefore more than political theater, it was a pointed encapsulation of growing public frustration. By issuing the demand in a live, televised parliamentary session, he brought the issue squarely to the president's doorstep, forcing the nation to confront unanswered questions and deepening the debate around accountability at the highest level of government. The chaos inside Parliament quickly spilled into the public sphere, igniting a fiery online discourse that spread across social media platforms. Within hours, hashtags such as #RamaphosaArrest, #Mkhwanazi vs Ramaphosa, and #Parliament Walkout began trending nationwide. Many South Africans praised Mkhwanazi for what they saw as courage, an unfiltered willingness to speak truth to power and demand justice in the face of long-standing concerns about corruption. Supporters applauded the unvarnished confrontation and argued that, after years of scandals and unresolved controversies, someone needed to hold the president accountable without political niceties or evasiveness. Yet, not everyone agreed. Others condemned the move as reckless, insisting that dramatic calls for arrest undermine due process, destabilize governance, and risk plunging the country deeper into political turmoil. For them, accountability must follow legal pathways, not public theatrics or emotionally charged declarations. Still, whether people applauded or criticized the moment, one reality became unmistakably clear: Mkhwanazi's demand captured national attention in a way few parliamentary speeches ever have. This unprecedented confrontation has amplified a growing crisis of confidence in South Africa's leadership. Ramaphosa, once heralded as a reformer capable of steering the country away from corruption and dysfunction, now faces mounting doubts from both the public and political leaders. Many South Africans feel disillusioned, frustrated by what they see as repeated failures to address corruption decisively or deliver on promises of clean governance. The parliamentary walkouts highlighted not only the anger among MPs but also the deepening divisions within the government and among citizens. These divisions reflect more than political differences, they signal a nation grappling with years of unresolved grievances, failures of accountability, and lingering mistrust in institutions tasked with safeguarding democracy. The shocking scenes inside Parliament should not be dismissed as mere political spectacle. When a president faces calls for arrest, when MPs storm out in protest, and when the legislative chamber dissolves into chaos, it speaks to something larger, a democracy in distress, caught between demands for justice and the challenges of maintaining stability. The uproar reveals a country wrestling with fundamental questions about leadership, truth, and responsibility. For Ramaphosa, the stakes could not be higher. Ignoring these allegations or relying on procedural shields risks eroding what little trust remains in his presidency. Yet responding forcefully or defensively could expose vulnerabilities that his allies are eager to keep buried. Either path carries political peril, making this one of the most precarious moments of his presidency. As the dust settles, South Africa is left contemplating what comes next. Will Parliament push for deeper investigations, potentially reopening inquiries that many believed were winding down? Will Ramaphosa supporters rally around him more fiercely, framing the confrontation as a politically motivated attack designed to destabilize the ANC? Or could this moment mark the beginning of a more serious effort to remove him from office, fueled by growing dissatisfaction and a sense that accountability has been insufficient? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is undeniable: this explosive parliamentary showdown has reshaped the national conversation and heightened the pressure on political leaders to confront these issues directly. In the midst of this uncertainty, one conclusion emerges with stark clarity. The parliamentary session was a turning point, a moment when political tensions reached a boiling point, and the country bore witness to a dramatic clash between power, accountability, and public frustration. Mkhwanazi's call for Ramaphosa's arrest did not simply spark outrage, it ignited a broader debate about justice, corruption, and the future of South Africa's democracy. The subsequent walkouts symbolized the deep fractures within the political system, illustrating just how unstable and divided the landscape has become. The chamber's turmoil mirrored the division spreading across the country, as citizens debated whether this confrontation represented necessary accountability or dangerous political theater. Ramaphosa's presidency, already strained by ongoing scandals and eroding public trust, now stands at an even more uncertain crossroads. Whether this moment leads to meaningful action, intensified political conflict, or long-term instability remains to be seen, but the ripple effects are already unmistakable. South Africa is entering a new chapter of political turbulence, and the events in Parliament have ensured that the coming weeks will be marked by scrutiny, speculation, and a growing demand for truth. Beyond the immediate uproar, the long-term implications of this parliamentary confrontation could be profound, influencing not only Ramaphosa's political trajectory but also the direction of South African governance. The dramatic clash has opened a new front in the ongoing struggle between those demanding radical transparency and those calling for measured, procedural justice. Many analysts argue that such a public and confrontational call for the president's arrest signals a rising impatience within the political class, a belief that conventional oversight mechanisms are no longer sufficient to address the nation's deep-seated governance issues. The symbolism of a direct challenge issued in the heart of Parliament, rather than through committees or investigative bodies, underscores a shift toward more aggressive forms of political accountability, driven by public pressure and growing distrust in bureaucratic processes. Additionally, this moment may embolden other MPs who have long hesitated to speak out. Mkhwanazi's bold stance could become a catalyst for further open criticism, pushing previously cautious leaders to express their frustrations more forcefully. Some may now view Parliament not merely as a legislative body, but as a stage where political courage is tested and public narratives are shaped. The incident has also exposed the internal fractures within political parties, revealing the extent to which members are divided not only across party lines but also within their own ranks. These divisions could have lasting consequences for legislative cooperation, party cohesion, and future elections. For the public, the spectacle has intensified expectations for truth and transparency. Ordinary South Africans, already grappling with economic hardship, unemployment, and service delivery failures, are increasingly unwilling to tolerate vague explanations or drawn-out investigations. The drama has given voice to their frustrations, making it clear that citizens expect leaders to act decisively, ethically, and openly. As the country watches closely, the aftermath of this explosive parliamentary showdown may shape South Africa's political climate for years to come.